Welcome. Hey. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Freight Trapping Podcast. And I'm your host, Mr. James Roberts.
And I'm your girl, Tawana Roberts, a.k.a. the Queen of Dispatch.
And we want to welcome you on this Sunday night. I know y'all watching your football. My team gone. I'm a little salty. But I know you guys are watching football, trying to relax, trying to bring your team on into the Super Bowl, AFC Championship, NFC Championship. But here tonight on the Freight Trapping Podcast, we're going to talk about mental health. And before I do that, that was One of One by NBHB Nick. I love promoting. I love giving truckers new music to listen to. I found him. Hey, man, go Google him. Go SoundCloud, Apple. Go get his music. Put it in your rotation while you're on the road. Hey, man, he going to get you where you need to be. I know how it is. He gonna help you get going. So tonight, we are talking about mental health in trucking. And we have I'm going to let my wife introduce her. I'm going to let my wife introduce her. Go ahead, baby.
I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest on tonight. I'm letting everybody know on Instagram Live that we need you to head over to Freight Trapping Podcast on YouTube. Head over there. We're not going to be on here on Instagram live long at all. We want you to head to the YouTube channel. We're not going to be here long on here because this will be our last Sunday going live on the Instagram. We want you guys to start tapping into our YouTube channel as well as our Facebook page because we are live streaming. So this is not pre-recorded. We wanted to do everything live. We wanted to have it fresh, fresh off the table for you guys. So head over to Freight Trapping Podcast YouTube channel. And we will give you about another about 3 minutes to head over there, and we're going to exit out this live. So head over to Freight, FR, the number 8, GHT, Trapping, TRAPN, podcast, YouTube channel, please. But without any further ado, I definitely want to go ahead and get into it. The time now is 6:04 Central Standard Time.
We're on time tonight.
We're located in the heart of Houston, Texas, the northeast side. And we want to go ahead and introduce someone that is near and dear to my heart, someone that will be near and dear to your heart when you hear her speak on tonight. This is a young lady that I've known for almost 30 years. And she is one of Houston's finest, straight out of the 5th Ward. She's one of Houston's finest. Yes, straight out of the nickel.
Yes, indeed.
The nickel.
And she is also one of Houston's greatest assets. She is a licensed professional counselor, and she's our guest on tonight. So I just want to, bring her on. I always tell you guys, we're gonna come on here, and we won't be before you long on tonight, but we're gonna definitely be before you strong, because this is gonna be one for the books. We have licensed professional counselor, none other than Miss Seperia Preston Rawls, guys, tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank y'all so much for having me on tonight.
Yes,
You're so
ma'am.
welcome. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation. I thought that this would be one of the most powerful episodes we would have, because this is something that we need to talk about, and especially amongst the African American community, because I know that dealing with mental health and things that all falls under that category is really difficult for us as African Americans to talk about. And this is something that I know for a fact that has targeted the industry of transportation and logistics, specifically the trucking world. I remember about 2 years ago, I saw an article out there where a young man was at a truck stop and he committed suicide. And I think that this is something that we need to start talking about more, and bringing more awareness to it, but also having resources, people that can help, these individuals that are suffering. So first of all, I just want to give you the opportunity to, now that I've introduced you, but tell us a little bit about, again, who you are and what you do, and just, some of your experience.
Yes. Again, my name is Seperia Preston Rawls. I've been a therapist for quite some time, and I've been in mental health for almost 18 years, servicing the population of bipolar, schizophrenia, array of disorders, with my specialty working with juvenile justice department and the Texas Criminal Justice Department, in addition to fostering foster care children. And first and foremost, I want to say thank you so much to the trucking industry, because during this pandemic, you guys have been the unspoken heroes in the world, providing resources and making sure that the community get what they need during this difficult time, spending countless of hours away from your family. And sometimes that is a major trigger with the trucking industry, when I have to leave my family for 2 and 3 weeks at a time to make sure that the community have what they need. But I'm not sure if my family have what they need, because I'm not there.
Yeah.
And on behalf of the truckers, I would like to say thank you for recognizing them, recognizing us, for playing our part in during this pandemic, and using our career to make somebody else's life that much easier. Yeah. And see, that's how I look at it. I always tell people we are always in the mode of customer service.
Yes.
And so at the end of the day, when it hit, I was just like, here we go. Stand on what you do. Stand on what you do. So I'm going to speak on, from all of the truckers, I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
And now I know that you had said stand on what you do, but I in the mental health arena, a lot of times I've been having truckers say, you stand on what you do, but do you also stand on what you know? And could you elaborate that to me? Because I didn't kind of understand what that comment meant. Stand on what you do, but also stand on what you know.
Well, stand on what you do, of course, is whatever lane you run, whether it be freight, whether it be box truck, whether it be van, whether it be doing ground, whether it be doing hazmat, whether it be doing reefer. Whatever you do, stand on it, meaning do it well, meaning do it with integrity, meaning do it with efficiency,
Yes.
Be safe, get it to where it's going, and take care of you. That way you can take care of other people on the road.
Exactly.
Stand on that. The next thing is saying stand on what you know. Know what you're hauling.
Okay.
Know where you're going. Know what path you need to take to get there. Know how to deliver when you get there. Whether you're in a tanker, whether you gotta, cause sometimes you get a flatbed and you know where you're going, but you don't know the conditions you finna face. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you're safe. sometimes you'll go out and you deliver to a new construction. And you got guys out there that just want the product. You know what I'm saying? They just want the product. But you have to be able to say, now what do I know? I know it's been raining for the last 2 days. Right? So let me go walk out here and see how this ground looks. Because I know you want your product, but you're not gonna cost me $3,500 to get pulled out of your site because it's been raining for 2 days and I get there back there and get stuck. All you gonna do is look at me and say, I don't know what you're gonna do. So know what you're doing. Stand on what you do and stand on what you know. You know what I mean? So that's what it basically means. I mean, other truckers may have another perspective, but most of them will say that's what it is.
Okay.
It is. And when we say it to you, that means stand on your certification and know who you're talking to.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So if I say that to you, that's all that means. I respect your certification, but understand who you talking to. I'm a truck driver.
And since I'm here to talk about mental health in the trucking industry, what I have come to find out about the mental health in the trucking field is a lot of their illness have to do or is associated with social isolation, not having that personal connection or that connectivity, what they feel to the outside world. They also feel like when they are trucking, they are in their own bubble.
Right.
And when I explain to a client, explain to me as a mental health professional, what does that look like to feel like you in your own bubble, that you have no one but yourself on the road. But when you on the road, you are someone that is responsible for everyone that is around you, but yet you feel like nobody has responsibility to you because you're there to serve. You serving a purpose, and that is to get the product out. But yet, in getting that product out, I haven't had proper sleep. I haven't ate appropriately or even a healthy meal. Or I haven't been able to keep in constant contact with my family. And when I say that, yes, you talk to your family, but not have that pure communication. And when I say pure, that means not just an in-passing conversation, because time and hours are overlapping where your family may be going to bed and you may just be getting up to get ready to deliver a product. So all that is so impactful in the mental health of someone. And I know a couple of weeks ago, you discussed about proper nutrition and detoxing of the body. And that is very important because that's where depression lies. Because when you just jumping out of the car and eating and all these other elements of underlying health condition arises, because if I'm just used to getting a burger and cheese, I'm not thinking about going and getting no smoothie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I thought that was amazing that you talked about detoxing the body.
I want you to, and that's good because I want you to go ahead and call in to the call-in number, because somebody commented on here and said that this is a deep topic. He says that I've worked in mental health for the last 16 years and know that this is a much needed discussion. Shout out to y'all, man. So we want anyone that have a question to call in. This is a call-in moment, guys. 727-731-2494. We want you to share this. Don't just hop on here to be nosy. Share this. We're talking about mental health. This is not about you. This is not about me. This is not about James. This is not about Miss Preston. This is about being able to provide some information that can possibly save a life. So share it, please.
I want to say this here.
Please share it.
Please be nosy, because she might just help you.
Please share it. This is so serious, because this is something that we just don't like to talk about. This is a real ugly topic amongst African American. And I'm gonna tell you this, because as a Black woman, I lost everything. We lost everything in 2017 with Hurricane Harvey. And I was diagnosed with PTSD. I had suffered from previous things as a child. And then you get to the point that you start healing from that. And then you turn around and you lose everything, and you have to be rescued out of your home by a boat. And you lose everything. And I was diagnosed with PTSD. And so this was something I really was embarrassed to even talk about. This is the first time I've even said this publicly, because I was embarrassed. And this is stuff that we need to talk about so we can heal.
And guess what? You know what happened? As a man, when that hit, my survival skills kicked in.
Mm-hmm.
My protector, my my will to keep my family on a normal pace, all of it kicked in. So little did I know, I also too was suffering from PTSD. But as a man, we sweep it under the rug, because we got to continue to produce through it all, through the storm, through the rain, through the fire, through the snow. A man says to himself, I can't lay down. I can't be weak. I gotta go get it. Because now I gotta go get it, because we have to stay on pace. I can't let my wife and my children become so depressed, because if I come as the leader of the house, if I become depressed, so goes the house, right? So I didn't even realize I was suffering from PTSD also until I had a incident at work. And so I never knew why, but I had so much on my mind from that incident. No matter what nobody did, my job was great. They even came in and helped. Instead of donating to the Red Cross, they came in and gave the drivers who were affected, they gave them almost $5,000 a piece, instead of giving that money to the Red Cross, because they probably didn't know where it was going to go. So I just said that to say this. My wife suffered publicly, or not publicly, but she voiced her suffering. I internalized mine, which most men do, and that's not healthy. And I just wanted to, go elaborate on that, how men, suffer internally and don't really, voice it like most women do.
Well, men do that. And that is like a man suppressing their actual feelings. And then it becomes normalized. Like how you stated that you suffer from PTSD. When someone begins to normalize their feelings, they normalize it in a sense of saying, okay, this not affecting me, so I suppressed it and I continue to go on with my day-to-day routine. It doesn't become a problem until it is re-triggered. Then when it's triggered by an event, then all the emotions that you once felt at a certain time begin to enmesh. And when it enmeshes, then those feelings of hurt, pain, discouragement comes up. And then that's when you find yourself in the most vulnerable moment. Because I have a lot of men who feel, well, I'm the head of the house. My job is to make sure that my family is safe. Long as my family good, then I'm good. However, they they themselves are not good. But some men cannot allow themselves to be vulnerable to their wives in those moments. In those particular moments, they feel like, well, how would my wife view me? And that's why sometimes the suicidal rate for men in the trucking industry is so high, because they feel like they have no one to rely on but themselves. And they trying to process their feelings independently.
We have Haitian Empress. She says, we all have a mental issue. We just need to understand how to process and open up more.
I'm glad she said that, because the thing about mental illness, yes, the first thing is processing. The second thing is being able to open up. Like you said, in some communities, opening up feels like a sense of shame. But what I want Miss Haitian to know is that it's okay to verbalize to a trusted professional your feelings. And this is the thing about therapy. Every therapist may not be a perfect match for someone. Finding the perfect match for you and being able to discuss your feelings, your true feelings, that's when help really take place.
That's good. I have another comment from Facebook from Miss Sonja Anderson. She said, "You speaking the truth, James. Men feel like they have to be Superman and not show how they really are feeling." Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm gonna say something on that. You know, we fight hypertension as Black people as a whole.
Yes.
And for men, sometimes it's not your health that's causing your hypertension. It's the fact that you hold so much in.
Yes.
And you try to carry so much weight, and you don't know how to say, I need help. You know what I mean? And I suffer from that, because when it comes down to providing and protecting, I got a big ego. It ain't pride. It's just a big ego. You know, I like to stick my chest out. And so at the end of the day, we just need to learn how to express, hey, I need help.
Yes. And then we got another comment. Can you see the comment came up, Miss Seperia? Yes.
Yes, I see Miss the comment. Yes, in our society, we do tend to judge a lot, because people sometimes don't want to understand the background story of someone's needs. It's so easy to point the finger and say, oh, this person put themselves in a certain position. But to that person, that may have been their only sense of reliability, like their sense of judgment, as I should say. And it's not for us to point fingers in a community and say, well, your judgment was wrong. Your judgment was incorrect. When we want to heal our community, these are times, like I'm so glad I'm here today. We need to talk to people and explain, well, what caused you to make this decision? Weigh the pros and cons and help that person process their own decision making. When they able to process their own decision making and really view on the outlook of why that decision was inappropriate to them, then they'll get a greater sense of independency.
That's good. That's good right there, Seperia. Thank you. I want to move over real quick because I saw that there was a survey that was done amongst truckers, and it was found to have, and the surveyed truckers were found to have significant issues affecting their mental health, such as loneliness, depression,
yes,
chronic sleep disturbances, anxiety, and other emotional problems. Can you speak to those particular issues that were found during that particular study?
Yeah, I found that study to be a great study and very reliable and independent because, as I started off early, loneliness is one of the number one issues that truck drivers have because most truck drivers are on the road for sometimes 14 days straight without seeing anybody. They have limited communication. Just say you have a load at the grocery store. You may speak to that person, but then you back into your truck. And when they attest to depression, that does increase depression, not having that connectivity to the outside world. Even though you may see Mr. James, you see Mr. James in passing, y'all not having those in-depth personal conversations. And chronic sleep. Who is having appropriate sleep? You have a flat bed, a bed inside of your trailer. That's not a comfortable bed. That's just a temporary where you can rest your eyes for a little bit and then get back up. Sleep plays an important role in someone's physical health because when you don't get the proper sleep that you need, it affects your mood on all different levels because you cannot eat properly, you cannot think properly. So your mood shifts from day to day because you haven't gotten what you need, where your body hasn't been fully nourished. Let's
stick a pin right there real quick. Let me just add this. When I first began driving, they used to call me Rabbit because I could never get 8 hours of sleep in a truck because I wasn't comfortable with it. It was something new to me. So as a new driver, it took me almost 3 years to get comfortable with getting 10 hours worth of sleep or 8 hours worth of sleep or 6 hours. I would pull over for 4 hours at a time, 5 hours at a time, get up and start driving again. All because my body wasn't used to sleeping in there. And so at the end of the day, I began to drive until I got sleepy. And then I was able to get at least 8 hours of sleep in sleeper berth, as we call it. Or when I'm doing my 10-hour rest time, I was able to get that sleep. But I can almost say that 80% of drivers don't sleep in the back of their truck for 10 hours. That's almost because you'll do about 6, you'll get up for an hour and then do about another 3, maybe 2, and then you're back on the road. So yeah, you're right. It does. You don't get the proper sleep as that you need in the back of a sleeper berth. Go ahead.
And then with anxiety, the most truckers that I have spoken to have explained to me their anxiety level increases because they have to think about everybody on the road. They the eyes for everybody. However, they anxiety increase because if it's an accident, the turmoil that they have to go through to prove that maybe it wasn't even their fault. Or, if they're late on a load, being reprimanded. So yes, their anxiety levels increase because they have to constantly think about, hey, I got to make sure that I get these supplies on time to their location. So that is overwhelming.
Wow. Yeah. And then we have another comment I'm getting ready to place up on the screen. Can you see that? It says, yes, my husband is a trucker and he has high blood pressure. When he's over the road, he's constantly irritated with other drivers.
Yes.
I find myself spending most of my time trying to keep him calm. Sometimes it's just frustrating for me because if he strokes out over the road, it's so concerning to me.
Yes. And the only advice that I can give of the previous commenter, is always teaching your husband how to self-soothe himself, because he cannot take on the actions of other drivers. He can only be the focused driver that he is. Yeah. And that is maintaining his safe distance and continue to protect himself while he is on the road. Because like you say, you're going to have drivers that are agitated drivers that's in a hurry trying to get to certain destination, but you have one focus and one destination, and that is getting to your spot and making sure that you are safe.
Yes, that's good right there, Seperia.
Yeah, and she that's my cousin
okay,
Miss Sonia Anderson. Hey Sonia. Hey, but she's absolutely correct. If you're irritated and didn't get the proper sleep, the thing about it is I've done this, and I had to check myself a couple of times, that when you're irritated, you don't have good customer service skills. So when you show up to pick a load up or get delivered, and they tell you, hey man, it's gonna probably be about another hour, you go off, not knowing that you're the issue, that not getting enough sleep is the issue.
Right.
You know what I mean? So she's definitely right.
Let me also read this other passage that I read in regards to the industry specifically and suicide. Because as I mentioned earlier, I remember a couple of years there was a driver, and I cannot remember exactly the name of the company, but he did drive for a well-known company that had committed suicide, and that was something that was talked about amongst the culture of the industry, amongst Black people in the trucking industry, because I saw it all over social media, because I think he was an African-American man. But on one of these articles I read, it said that suicide is now among the 10 leading causes of death for adults in the United States. It says with the rate raising as high as it is, about 30% over for the past 20 years, this is being brought up through the CDC. And it says that the suicide rate is higher among certain groups and within certain professions. By occupation, transportation has the 4th highest rate amongst American working adult age, as well as suicide is especially a concern for male-dominated industries such as the trucking, because nearly 70% of people who die by suicide are male.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
Because that's so important. And the reason in my profession, what I believe is, a lot of times, like we talked about, people not having that outlet to communicate their feelings and the pressure and demand that they feel to deliver. When someone feels like, wow, I have no one to talk to, isn't it easier to take their own life? Because they feel like it's better for me to not be here than to work through an issue or a problem. And that's why you find so many truckers who sometimes antisocial is in that type of industry, because they already feel alone. They already feel like sometimes they don't have the communication skills that they need to communicate. So sometimes I have found in my profession a lot of antisocial male figures are in the trucking industry.
I'm not on Instagram anymore.
Could you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we got you. Yeah.
Okay. And so, James, I was going to ask you about that. Do sometimes you feel, because I mean, you've been a truck driver for quite some time. Have you felt like some of the truckers that you know really kind of antisocial, kind of shy in a sense? And so, you know, when you're in the truck, you kind of in your own zone, in your own world.
I'm going to just say this. Trucking is not, when you're on the over the road, when you're part of a company, you know, like a UPS or Old Dominion Expo, it's different. But when you're an over the road driver, it's hard to get out there and just kind of make friends or be confident or put your confidence in talking with somebody on the road. That just, this is not the culture. That wasn't built. That wasn't built because we have CBs in the truck, and some truckers, they out there, they see each other over the years, and once you get to see each other over the years a number of times, then you begin to kind of, man, didn't I see you down the road? Yeah, man, what's up? Da 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 da. Then, but most of the time you'll see a truck driver one time.
Okay.
And that's it. You're not going to see them ever again in life. Maybe. But about 3 months ago, I came across this app called CDL Life.
Okay.
So I think they're trying to make it easier for drivers to communicate, help one another out, and just kind of, show safe places to take a shower, safe, harmful places not to. And it's kind of like a heads up of what not. Don't go there. They're horrible. Go there. They're nice. That type of thing. So it's a good app. It's a good app. And so I've seen that door has kind of opened up with that app. And with social media, things are starting to open up a little bit. When you see somebody on social media and you run across them on the road, you might be like, hey, man, I seen you, da, 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 da. But that's it. But, yeah, you're definitely right. There is our communication with each other, unless we work for the same company, is because most of the time on the CB, man, we got truck. I'm not gonna lie, truckers have some of the worst road rage because we see four-wheelers. Well, this is what we call cars. We see four-wheelers, and we're driving. We're trying to keep our distance. We're looking ahead, saving ourselves an out, and we're in a lane that, nobody's in front of us, and we're just moseying along. All of a sudden, you get a four-wheeler that comes from the hammer lane, which is the fast lane, cross over 3 lanes just because they realize, oh, that's my exit.
Yes.
And so that's where our frustration comes in at. That's where our road rage comes in at. And that because of the fact that if I hit you, there's no way out for me.
Yes.
There's no way out for me. Nobody is going to bat for me. All because I drive an 18-wheeler and I'm a professional. I was supposed to see it coming. How am I supposed to see somebody coming from the hammer lane all the way across 3 or 4 lanes of traffic, and I clip their bumper, and now they're tossing and rolling, and now I'm at fault for causing the death. That I was being safe. I was doing all the things that the Smith system has taught me I was doing. But all of a sudden, this guy or woman or a young teenager decides to, oh, man, I need to get off. Swoop across the lane, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm good. I'm just driving ahead, looking ahead, checking my mirrors. And I'm not even thinking that this car is going to do that. But now here I am, caught in between losing my career and trying to be sympathetic and empathetic to whoever has, gotten hit or whatever. But I'm tossed up. It's over for me because at the end of the day, the way they see it is you're automatically in the wrong as a professional truck driver. That's frustrating.
And that was one of the I ain't gonna say number one, but that was one of the symptoms of anxiety that truckers had reported to me was, them having to be the eyes for everyone. And like you said, in that particular instance, if somebody cut across, them having to be able to defend themselves and not feeling like they being supported by someone else because it's automatically assumed it's your fault because you wasn't paying attention, and they easily could have been paying attention. And you know, stress and anxiety, they bring about other health elements such as high blood pressure, stroke, because you constantly worry and having that fear.
There's a lot of things going through your mind. I just want to real quick. Can you highlight that for me? Yeah. We talk. This is what I want to ask you about. A lot of truckers, me included, when I first began to drive until I got to my the point I am now. Well, a little bit before this, but a lot of truckers that start driving for the first time, they always begin with an owner operator, and most owner operators don't carry insurance. So you get paid cash money, and so you're responsible for your own health insurance. And this was before Obamacare and all of that. So what I want to know is, if a driver is dealing with a mental health issue, what are some keys that you can give, or some avenues you can give that a driver can without insurance? We know about Obamacare and all of that, but what's the route that they can take to getting toward getting some mental health help, being driving for an owner operator and having no insurance?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked me that, because there are so many companies that offer sliding scale fees that because they never want to turn away someone who is suffering from an illness. So I know my company offer a sliding scale, but then you have larger companies who offer sliding scales and then mild medication.
So what is sliding scales?
A sliding scale fee is based on your actual income, where they give you a point scale, and then they will give you a certain fee. Like their fee may be $100 an hour, but based on your income, it may go down to $50 an hour. However, you have companies like Imare that does, like, for those who doesn't have insurance, like the general revenue, where you can come in and they do a sliding scale as well, plus medication, and like organizations like Legacy, where you can go in and get an in-depth assessment.
Okay, that's good. That's good information to know. I thank everybody that's tuning in. I don't know if anybody has tried to call in. Check the lines. We don't have anybody, but that's good. So let's go into another question in regards to that, because some people, I know we've been talking about a lot of different pieces to the puzzle, but some people are suffering and don't really know what to look for. Could you share, some basically, how can we point out symptoms of depression, mental health issues, anything regarding mental health? How is it that we can point those out so we would know, hey, I might need to talk to someone?
And I'm so glad we're talking about this, because a lot of people have already normalized their feelings. And when I say normalize, it's like an everyday routine that they don't even really recognize that they're suffering. Because some of the key symptoms is inability to just simply get out of bed. Another one is a loss of appetite. Sometimes affect sleep inability. Those are three things are some of the key symptoms that we overlook, and we say, oh, I'm not eating because I'm tired. I'm losing weight because I'm tired. I just can't get up and eat. Or if I don't get out of bed, everything contributes to I'm tired. But sometimes your body can be so tired that it's falling into a depression.
That's good. That's good.
And a lot of times people have overlapping symptoms. And the reason why I have to bring this up, because depression sometimes lead to alcoholism. And the reason why it does, because I'm depressed in this area, what's the first thing people usually say? Oh, I need a drink.
Yeah.
I didn't have a long day. I need a drink.
Yes.
And so when our minds begin to shift that way, I have to have this drink. Drinking alcohol is also a suppression of one's mood, because now you didn't allow the alcohol to take over the issue. And I'm saying that because as soon as you get done drinking, the next day that problem is still there. That problem has not went away.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, when I was on the road and I was out there and I look forward to coming home and hitting the club and going having me a few, cause that causes me, that brought about a relaxation. That brought about like a satisfaction of saying, okay, I made it back. Because we have a saying that, come back the way you left.
Exactly.
Meaning don't come back hurt, don't come back in a body bag. That way you know that you haven't hurt nobody and you ain't hurt yourself. So come back the way you left. So with all of that being said, give me one, or give me the top 5 things that you see in truckers that could possibly lead to any type of depression or anything like that. Mental health, depletion. Give me your top 5 things.
Okay, my top 5 things that sometimes in truckers that I see that leads to mental health issues. Number 1 would be family. And the reason why I would say family, because a lot of truckers feel like in their family, they cannot communicate with their spouse, which lead to arguments, which lead to other things. So family to me, because if your family life is not on a cohesive unit, then that's stress while you on the road. My second,
no, you good.
Yes, my second one will be not eating properly, because like if you getting different type of foods, I mean, it's already affecting your body, already affecting your mood, because if you didn't ate 2 cheeseburgers and you go to lay down, you can't sleep properly. So
no, you can't. You sure can't.
Exactly. My third thing is for those is people who use alternate substance, and it could be nicotine, it could be alcohol. Those things leading to depression, because believe it or not, I have a lot of truckers that say, I take me 1 drink while I'm on the road and I know I'm not supposed to. Then
wow.
Yes, because they lonely, and that's a relaxation for them.
Thank God for HIPAA.
Yes, thank God for that.
My 4th thing that leads to depression, some truckers feel like they can't relate, in which I didn't understand that. They feel like sometimes they can't relate to the outside world, because it's just them in their bubble that, things are changing. And because they on the road so much, they're not even able to process those different things. And my last one is social interaction. Because people are so much on the road, they don't have that time to spend with family or friends. Like they can go to a gathering, having a good time, but then they look at the clock and say, oh, I got to leave, I got to go. So they don't get that social interaction like somebody who has a regular 9 to 5 would have.
Haitian Empress said, what is her view on the weed smoking and the CBD stuff?
Well, my view on marijuana is because marijuana, when you mixing it, let's get this straight. When you mixing marijuana, it does have a mental impact, and it can cause someone to hallucinate. It can when you mixing it. Now, if you just smoking marijuana temporary for relaxation, for chronic pain, because sometimes people have to take medicinal marijuana for their pain. It just kind of, I'm in a toss up, half and half.
See, yeah, I have to take the medicinal kind. Luckily for me, I work for myself, so I have to take the medicinal kind.
As far as as far as chucking goes, that'll never be that'll never be something that'll be cool for us to do.
Right.
So if you're not a trucker, then yeah, I mean, do your thing. If your job doesn't call for you any high type of safety mandates, then yeah, have at it. But if you're in a high safety zone or safety career, you'll never be able to take it. You'll never be able, even though, because they have they brought up about Texas legalizing marijuana. They brought it up. They're talking about it. But as far as us for truckers, you'll never be able to have any type of THC in your system and be okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that I mean, I understand the benefits of it, but for us as a trucker, you won't be able to be a trucker and do that.
But I never, when people say they have benefits, is it really benefits? Because
I'm gonna say yeah. Cause guess what? You would definitely get some good sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You would definitely get some good sleep on some good on some good little what do you call it? Edibles.
Oh, edibles. Oh,
yes, you would definitely get some good sleep on some edibles. So yeah.
Okay, well, we had a little Facebook spam pop up here. Hong Wee, he's having problems with herpes, so he decided to comment on my page, but we blocked that. Okay, Facebook. He said he's having issues with herpes. Brother, get that fixed. We're not on here for all of that, but nevertheless, we go.
Hey, guess what?
But we want to refer him to the doctor. If he got issues with herpes, we definitely want to.
It's a spam page. They just trying to spam it,
but I was just waiting for the trolls to pop up.
Yeah, they
coming, and so I welcome. That mean that hey, we hitting.
We doing something.
We hitting.
So
if I don't get trolls, then I'll be like, man, what am I doing now? Well, what am I not doing right? But yeah, welcome. But we will block you. We will block you because we here to have fun. I've tapped into how to entertain my truckers on the road. And so at the end of the day, man, this is what it's all about. You asked earlier, how can we help truckers to kind of know one another and help one another and talk to one another? It's a lot. It's hard when you're out there because especially nowadays, it's really hard nowadays because you have everybody coming out of the woodworks. They showing their true colors now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so where you want to be interactive with them and talk and be like, hey man, what's up? You good? Now you just kind of look at, and I'm gonna be frank. You look at the other race. We look at white people and be like, man, I don't know, bro, cause you got Trump flying hard in your truck, and you got but basically what I'm saying is it's hard to determine good people when you're out there on the road, because like my cousin said, that CB culture. When you're on that CB, because I told Tawan, I said we're gonna get a CB in here, and you guys will be able to hear, what goes on the CB. I mean, it's hard. It's hard, guys. One time I was on the CB and it was going so hard. Dude was like, "Come get me, come see me." Da 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 da. He said, "Well, put your truck up." So he put his truck up over the CB. Told him I'm in a black Freightliner. Da 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 da. I'm at the Loves. So when he pulled up, when the dude actually pulled up on him. So when he pulled up on the truck that he told him about, luckily, the guy who truck it was, he was coming out of the Loves. And the guy was like, "Man, well, why you in my truck? What's going down?" "That was you, man. Look here, bro. I've been in the Loves. You see me with my shower bag. What's the deal?" Luckily, the guy who had got off the highway to meet him had enough sense to ask questions first. Because that CB, man, I don't. Everything that happened on that CB, it's just like over the airwaves, over the internet. You got Twitter fingers, you're an internet gangster. You talk all of that cash money, cash shit behind a computer and on a laptop. It's the same way with a CB. But then you got some people that are very few that will really just actually meet you. So at the end of the day, what it all boils down to is, hey man, if you ain't about that life, stay out the way. And ain't nobody about that life. Ain't nobody about that life. Ain't nobody out there trying to take nobody's life. Ain't nobody out there because if you was, you wouldn't be in trucking. You wouldn't be in trucking. So for me, to the CB culture, say, man, don't take none of that to heart. Just like we don't take none of this trolling to heart when it come down to the internet and people saying stuff. Man, look, I ain't finna pull up on you because you gonna give me the wrong address and you not gonna be 100 with what you do. Hey, man, and I ain't about gunplay. I'm not ashamed of it, but I'm not about gunplay. If we got an issue, I'm all about, hey, say, man, we can set up something in the backyard. Ain't nobody got to know about it but me and you. So that's the way men handle stuff. So, man, y'all take it easy on that CB, man, especially those out there throwing across racial slurs, whether it be at black people, whether it be at white people, whether it be at Asian, whether it be at Mexican people, whoever it is, Indians, whoever. Man, don't take none of that to heart because sometimes it do get real. It get real. People will pull up on you when you think they won't. You know what I mean? And then when you think you want to pull up on somebody, they'll show you that you don't want to. So y'all just chill, man.
And let me say this, because when he just mentioned about pulling up and all of this craziness, I remember back in 2018, I was pregnant with my son. And I was going down McCarty, and anybody that's from Houston, you know what's going on over there on McCarty, right? And that's like 090. That's like truckers heaven, right? That you got Loves, you got Pilot, you got everything up and down there. You have Valeros that have truck,
trucker pawn shop.
You have everything. It's like paradise, right, for truckers, because you can get your truck wash, your oil change, you can get your bath in, you can get all that good stuff just right there on 90. But I never forget, man, one day I was driving and it was me and my daughter in the car, and I was pregnant with my baby boy, and I had to been like 6, 7, 8 months pregnant. I know it was far along, but I remember we pulled up at the first light. I cannot remember the name of that light. Leo, you may know it. James, you may know it. But once you hit that, once I was coming, I was heading 610 east, right? And I exit McCarty, and then I made the left underneath 610, right? Once I bust the left, out, when you make that left underneath the freeway, if you look to your left, that's where the old Lubis used to be. But now it's called
honey.
It's like a Hooters, but it's not Hooters. But it was the first street. Once you make that left under 610, and we was at that first light. I can't remember the light. It's right before you get to Love.
It's a side street.
It's right before. It's a light right there before you get to Love. And I saw this guy in a car jump out, and it's a 2-lane road, and we in the right lane, and he jumped out of his car. He probably had like a 9, and he jumped out, and the 18-wheeler was on the left, which was on the left lane at the light. So him and the car and the truck, they're at the first car is at the light. He opened that man's truck door and was waving that pistol at that man. And I couldn't imagine what the driver was thinking. I could have sworn that he was going to kill that man right in front of me, because my car was directly behind the person who had the gun. And I'm like 7-8 months pregnant, so I'm about to have a nervous breakdown. Even though I'm concealed, the first thing on my mind wasn't to, do anything because I'm pregnant. But that is another thing that, I'm sure a lot of these drivers have dealt with, just regular people in 4-wheelers that have horrible mental issues, because you have to be mentally insane to jump out in public in broad daylight, like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and jump out of your car with a pistol and open this man's cab and jump up in the 18-wheeler pointing the pistol.
Let me say this here, and I told you this when it happened. If that truck driver, which most truck drivers are concealed gun hand carrying, and you can have a weapon in your truck if you have proper license for it. If that man would have shot that guy, he'd have been well in his right. And no law enforcement, they would have probably done an investigation, but that driver would not have been charged.
Because I was an eyewitness to that. That was horrible.
Because when you open my door, that's a threat. Mm-hmm. That's a threat. Now, it'd have been different if he'd have walked around the front of the truck waving it or whatever the case may be, and the driver got out and shot him. Now, that's he crossed the line because he got out of his truck to do what he was gonna do. But when that civilian opened that driver's door, he better be glad he didn't have no knife that he was just gonna throw at him. Because at the end of the day, somebody walking around my truck like that, first of all, my door is not gonna be unlocked. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if it is unlocked and you open it, whatever I have in my truck to defend myself with, once you open that door, I'm about to tear in your ass with it.
Yes.
But it really the reason why I brought it up, because I can only imagine mentally, you know what I'm saying, how that driver felt at that moment. I'm sure he probably thought his life was flashing before his eyes, because this gentleman jumped out of the driver's seat of his car at a light and opened the passenger side of the cab and opened it up and was pointing it at the driver. And, I just look at it overall. This is a dangerous job for these drivers to be on the road. This is why we want to talk about this, because we don't know what could trigger or what has triggered someone's anxiety out there, because that gentleman may have not been suffering from mental health issues prior to that day. And then just to be sitting at the light, and most likely that civilian, that person in that 4-wheeler probably was in the wrong and got mad, and was probably some road rage situation. And he probably got mad at the 18-wheeler, because most of us do get mad at the 18-wheelers because we feel like you a bigger piece of equipment. We feel like you should know better, or you should be watching out for me and all of this good stuff. But it still didn't give him a right to do that. And me and my daughter just literally talked about this the other day when we were going down that road, and she was like, "You remember that day?" And I was like, "Yeah." It was just so sad, because I don't even remember where the driver drove off to, because I literally just stopped. I didn't even follow. When the light turned green, I got over and made a U-turn, because I was like, I don't want to be anywhere around when the shooting it can happen, because bullets have no name, and I'm pregnant. I don't want to get hit. But that was a really sad situation. But I brought it up because a lot of these drivers are being exposed to all kind of situations that can happen to them out there on the road. And like you said in the beginning, you know, we just want to thank you guys for all of your hard work. Thank you for serving this country by, you know, getting out there and, you know, transporting these goods and, you know, getting them picked up safely and delivering them safely on a day-to-day basis, because without you, a lot of us would, you know, not be running our businesses. We wouldn't be able to, you know, do the things we do. We wouldn't be able to live in our homes, because freight has to move everything out here, you know, from when you're building homes and you're building hotels and motels and businesses, you need 18-wheelers to what? Transport that wood and all of those different pieces of the puzzle to build those foundations and those homes and those businesses. So we appreciate everything.
I don't care what it is you get, it got to hit a dock.
Yeah.
Say that.
And then it got to get put on some type of truck.
Some type of truck. Whether, flatbed, drive-in, reefer, RG, anything, low boys. Mm-hmm. You got cement trucks out there. You gotta have cement truck to create the slabs. And you I mean, just we thank you guys for all of your hard work. And for anybody out there that's listening, I'm asking that you share this link to YouTube, share it on Facebook. We're gonna get ready to close here. We're about 5 minutes after 7, but we definitely want anyone that's listening to know, if you are in Houston, you definitely can reach out to Ms. Preston. If you are in another state or another city, she can tell you if she can work with you. She is virtual as well. She has an office here in the greater Houston area, in the northeast part of Houston. So Ms. Rawls, can you please tell us how we can connect with you? Tell us how we can, get in touch with you in case anyone is listening would like to reach out to you for further conversations or assistance.
Yes. Number one, I'm on Psychology Today. If you type in my name, Seperia Preston, it will also pull up. My practice location is 505 North Sam Houston Parkway East, Houston, Texas 77060. And my business line number is 281-639-2126.
Well, you were going a little fast, child. So let me type this in. Psychology Today.
Type in my name, Seperia Preston, and it'll pop up.
Preston. And you're located at 505 North Sam Houston
Parkway East.
Okay, I got that part. I know. We're right across the street. Our offices are right across the street from each other. What's that suite number?
170D.
Okay. And that is Houston, Texas. And that is 7706. And what's that phone number?
281-639-2126.
2126. So we got that there. That's on YouTube. We'll get it copied because we having technical issues with it being posted on Facebook here for some reason. We got disconnected, but nevertheless, we're still live on Facebook, but it wouldn't let me type. But we'll get that information added there in the comment section. Yeah, but Psychology Today, you can type in Seperia Preston. She's located at 505 North Sam Houston Parkway East, and that's Suite 170D as in David, and that's Houston, Texas 77060. And we're just excited. We thank you so much for coming in today. We like to give out health tips before we go. And so I was looking at some things. I've been practicing getting your well woman or your well man, because we are at the beginning of the year and people typically do theirs at the beginning of the year. Morning. And I do want to say also, if you're a caffeine drinker like me, like I love coffee, I love Starbucks, I love caffeine, but let's try to cut the caffeine off after 12 o'clock noon. Get your 1 or 2 cups in for the morning, but let's try to start cutting that caffeine off by noon, as well as let's try to incorporate some form of healthy eating, because as Ms. Rawls mentioned earlier, that is something that we do and we don't even know that it's a sign of other things but let's try to, take it one step at a time, even if it's having a snack. Let's do fruit. Some people say, oh, don't eat fruit at a certain time. Let me tell you something. I have some of the most healthiest people around me. I have some of the most successful fitness gurus out there, and you can eat fruit anytime you want to. I know people with 6-pack, 8-pack abs that wake up in the morning at 1 o'clock wanting a snack, and they go fix them a little fruit smoothie. So it's fine, long as you incorporate a balanced diet, and you do a little bit of get you a little bit of workout, even if it's just 30 minutes a day. Try to walk around your house, up and down the stairs, around the corner and back. Just do something to keep yourself active.
And don't forget, go check out Freight Trapping Apparel and get your hoodies.
Get your hoodies, the Freight Trapping.
Pre-order your hoodies. We've got some orders coming in. Remember,
yes,
these are custom hoodies.
They're
stitched. You're not going to get the balls on the arm or the sleeve. Nope. So it takes time. So I'm telling you, get your orders in. It's going to take about 2 weeks?
Maybe not even that long, because they should be coming in soon. Okay. So, go ahead and start getting your orders in, because we have pretty much, gotten them all sold out. So we're going to on our second round.
Yeah. So we want to thank Ms. Rawls, Ms. Preston Rawls, for coming in and joining us tonight, talking about mental health.
Yes.
Just remember, man, this life is yours.
Yes.
Live it to the fullest. Just know that some arguments are needed. Some arguments are stepping stones. So just remember to always build, and never let anything take you out of your element of who you are. This has been the Freight Trapping Podcast with me, James Roberts.
Your girl, Tawana Roberts, a.k.a. the Queen of Dispatch.
And once again, we're going to leave you with a little, once again, you truck drivers, we're going to leave you with a little bit of 101, One of One by NBHB Nick. Go check him out and check out his music. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you. Bye, Miss Rawls.
Thank you.